it brought great joy to me to, I like to see idiots actually make idiots out of themselves. It brings me joy. I don't wish anybody pain or anything. I don't want anybody to get hurt. But when a smart ass, somebody who thinks they know it all, and I know a few of those people, when they make themselves look like complete morons and complete idiots, it brings me such great joy. Oh, and you know what? If you say, no, it doesn't do that for me, then you're telling a story, a big old fat lie. Because everybody loves that. Everybody loves to see a know-it-all get worked. I love it. Some people think I'm a know-it-all, but I am not a know-it-all. I'm a know-it-little. Very little. I know very little. You know what? Check this out. I got these stats for you, too. It says right here, and it's right on my piece of paper, so it's got to be true. Let's see here. So if you take 100 kids and give them the vaccine for the MMR vaccine, excuse me, or take 1 million kids, you give them the vaccine, 97% of the children that get the vaccine do not get measles, mumps, or rubella. 97% of them don't get it. Now, check this out. 90%, let's see here. Hold on. 90% of kids that don't get the vaccine, 90% of them will get measles or mumps or rubella. Hey, I got that right off the website. It's on my piece of paper. It's got to be true. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, talk about a couple of other things. Y'all be good. I'll talk to you soon. You're listening to Man Please Show. Be right back.
Here at McDonald's, we recognize your need for new and fresh ideas. Well, we consider ourselves hip and fresh and rad and all that. So we want to introduce the new Triple Stack Patty Whack. It's cool and right on. It's on the chain. Most of all, it's whack. Try one if you're cool. Visit your local McDonald's on 5th and Vine in Greensboro. Open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Miracle Whip is sorta kinda, not really, like mayo, but multiplied by awesomeness. You see, we've got this bold, tangy flavor that is unlike anything you've ever tasted. 1 out of 4 people in this country loves the creamy, sweet, and tangy taste of Miracle Whip. Sadly, 2 out of the other 4 hate them for it, and 1 out of those 2 haven't even tried it. Well, we think 1 out of 2 of the original 4 is being pretty unfair. Let's declare an end to this injustice, this unfair treatment against a simple sandwich spread. Miracle Whip, sorta kinda, not really, like mayo.
Man, please.
Yes, sir. Man, please. You are listening to the Man Please Show. And I appreciate you being here. I'm your host, Trog. We're talking about vaccinations. We're talking about vaccines, the MMR vaccine, which is the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine. And we're talking about folks that don't immunize their children and folks that do. You know, the good, the bad, and the ugly. You know, and it's kind of a shame because, you know, Clint Eastwood put it just right about, you know, folks. And I know it's your right to do that, so it's not like anybody can bust into your house and, you know, with syringes in hand and grab your children and stick them with needles. I know we can't do that. It's your right not to immunize and not protect your child. It's your right to do that. It shouldn't be, especially the not protect part. But that's your right. That's your right. But, you know, my buddy Clint Eastwood, he's got something to say about it.
Diane ain't much of a living boy.
Diane ain't much of a living boy. Oh, it really isn't. You know what? You know, I would say to the people who don't immunize, check this out. Have you ever heard of the horrific disease of polio? You know, polio hadn't been around for a long time. People don't, well, people don't get it anymore. It's not like it used to be. You know, it was very common. We had a president who had polio. And I know you want me to name him, but I'm going to leave you in the dark. I know his name, but I'm not going to say it. But you know what? Check this out. Dr. Jonas Salk. I know you never heard of him, but 1952, he developed a polio vaccine. A vaccine for polio, a disease that destroys your muscles, makes you unable to walk. Eventually, you can't even move. It just comes in and takes over your body and takes possession of it like it ain't even yours. Well, Dr. Jonas Salk, he developed a vaccine, a polio vaccine, and eradicated polio and saved thousands of lives, all from a vaccine. And you know what? I don't think people were worried about autism when they were taking that vaccine. They were ecstatic that somebody had developed something that would prevent them and prevent their children from getting this horrific disease, polio. Well, I know mumps and measles isn't horrific, but there are diseases that children don't have to have. They don't need to go through that. You know why? Because there's a vaccine for it. You know, my kids had the vaccine, no autism. There's no link to it. And, you know, I don't know. You know, there's a fine, I mean, you just can't make people do those kind of things. You know, this would become a, you know, a place I wouldn't want to live if governments were making people take shots and making people take certain medical, you know, honestly, I don't want that. But I don't know what the answer is. Maybe better education. Some of these people are just so hard-headed, it's been drilled in their head. And, you know, once they make their choice, hey, there's nothing that can convince them. So, if their child gets sick and infects somebody else, I believe that they should be liable. Hold on, I got a phone call. Let me see if this is for real. Hello, you listening to the Man Please Show.
Danny. I wanted to call in about your vaccine show.
Okay. I'm all ears. You're on the air, by the way.
I know I am. I'm listening. I know it is federal law in the state of North Carolina, because I used to have a job used to do all these vaccinations, that no child can start school or be in child care in the state of North Carolina without being vaccinated.
Well, see, do you think that's a good idea? Do you like that idea?
Yes, because a lot of kids, it prevents them from getting a lot of things that I think the general public does not know about. I'm not wild about vaccines that come from live viruses, but a lot of them don't.
Yeah.
So I would just check in and make sure they're not getting a live virus vaccination, but I am for it. Yes, it prevents a lot of kids from being sick.
It sure does. And you know, now that you mention it, it rings a bell that is that in just the surrounding area, or is that in the state of North Carolina?
The whole state. I think it may be federal law in a lot of other states, but I'm just not sure which states
Yeah.
do what other than North Carolina.
So say a parent opts out, do they just take their child out of school and homeschool them, don't they?
I don't know, because they're going to have a lot of documentation and medical backup and all kind of stuff. You know, it's not just, I don't want my kids to have it and the law drops. It's a lot of stuff involved that I'm not sure about, but I know they fight them tooth and nail with this religious stuff that do not, want. I don't know if I'd call it negligent, but it's something in the law, and they make them go through a lot of red tape.
Well, I think and I hate to use the term, but I think it's a form of child abuse, because the child has no say-so in it. And so, whether or not that child is protected against a disease that I'm sure that child don't want, it's not his choice. So, that kind of just, rubs me the wrong way.
Me too, because I think it's kind of going across negligence as a parent. But that's my opinion only.
Well, I agree with you. Hey, I really appreciate you calling. And
okay.
Call back again, okay?
Okay, I will. Thank you.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye. All right. Well, there you have it. That's what she thinks. I agree with her. I'm glad they have that rule. You don't get them immunized, you can't bring them into school, because that protects all the other children who are immunized. It protects everybody, If they aren't willing to protect themselves, why would we allow them to subject themselves to other children? As a parent, I would have a conniption about that, And I am a parent, but my kids are, in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. No, I'm kidding. I do have grandchildren, though. So I'm that old. So anyway, I find it a really fascinating topic. I would have loved to have heard somebody who didn't agree with the immunizations. I'd love to hear what they think and why they feel that way. But anyway, hey, look, that's about it for the show today. This has been a really enjoyable show. It's been a great topic. I appreciate the phone call. And we're going to continue to move forward. And we'll be back next Monday at 6 o'clock. So, today, all I have to say is to the parents that aren't protecting your children, thus not helping to protect the children they play with, man, please, come on, get with the program. All right, y'all. Peace out. Love you. Talk to you soon. Later.